Hi everybody, good evening and welcome back for the second time today following my 2 o'clock-ish update in regards to the power situation and as much other information as I can get to you. Now at my regular time, just not with my regular programming schedule. Again, a quick or brief update on the power situation, which has improved but is still the same for at least 1,000 Magoffin County households at this hour. But we'll update you on the road situation, the power, and some other information as best as possible. Some good news since I saw you last. Kentucky Power was able to restore well ahead of time. When I spoke to you earlier today, they had mostly assured local government that Restaurant Row, which is also the Magoffin County Health Department, and most importantly the Sagersville Nursing and Rehabilitation Feed, that they didn't have much hope of getting that back on today and maybe even tomorrow or Friday. But by later afternoon, it has been reestablished and is still on. That is also, of course, not just good news for the nursing home, who was making by about 50% capacity with their generator and some alternate heating sources, but businesses along Restaurant Row open, able to get fuel after Speedway ran completely out, as was expected early in the afternoon, of kerosene, gas, what little diesel they had, they were holding back for state employees and those crews that are out there working who desperately needed that to continue to help improve the situation for all of us. And I got to mention that actually the situation was Dad went into Lee's earlier this morning, connecting some generators and getting, of course, most of the fryers work on gas, but it still takes some electricity to run the operations, and as he always does and has always done in the years previous, he was making arrangements to feed all of our volunteers out there and of course our county workers and other employees who were out there working so hard to get power restored and the like. And when the power came back on, I think Mom, Dad, Victoria, and maybe 2 other workers were able to come in, and they have been up there serving whoever's been coming through the drive-through to the best of their ability now since, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock, and it was pretty astounding to watch. So I'm not going to say they're still even open at this hour, or you can still go get you some chicken, because we're not trying to encourage anyone to get out on the roads. But a lot of folks who were out working today were able to stop and get them something warm to eat, and I wish to thank my family for that, so, and recognize them. Okay, on to the other important news. The winter storm watch remains in effect from Wednesday evening through Friday morning. I'll elaborate more on this several inches of snow and some ice that we could see in just a few moments. One quick announcement before we go to our local information. As for the COVID update today from Governor Beshear, we will not have a local update for you tonight, maybe tomorrow. 1,255 new cases, 27 new deaths, sadly. Positivity rate still in the 6% range at 6.58. Some good news today, however. The federal government says Beshear is increasing our vaccine supply again, announcing that they will send 13.5 million doses of the vaccine to states every week, up from the current 11 million a week. I don't have the numbers as to what that actually translates to Kentucky for total weekly allotments. I think it was around 80,000 or 85,000 without that increase, so that is certainly good news, and we'll talk more about that at a later time when it's more appropriate and time allows. The governor also acknowledging that 32 counties and 22 cities in the state have declared a state of emergency as a result of this winter storm, which has left us with the aftermath and left us looking at the next storm system in its way. Let's sit down right now in a very impromptu discussion with Magoffin County Judge Executive Matt Wireman. He gives us an update on all roads in Magoffin County, as well as options, which are now more so in regards to some places to seek some temporary shelter tonight with electricity coming back on in the downtown area. Let's go ahead and talk about roads. I know electricity is foremost in everybody's mind, but county roads and obviously the state roads that you've seen addressing the county roads.
Well, I've been out in the county most afternoon, and a lot of the secondary state roads are still snow covered and very, very hazardous. The county roads I've been on are even worse, but a lot of the folks that live on these roads, I appreciate the fact they've got out, they've cut the paths through so that we can get in and out for emergency purposes, and we'll come through and we'll clean up the rest of that. We still have a few roads out in the county that may have some trees that are making roads impassable, but for the most part, we have cleared the roads that had significant trees down, such on Rock House, Lacey, Scaffold, Mud Lick, and down that area just seemed that each road had multiple trees on it, and we got those cleared.
And again, just a reminder, and anything else to add, we're looking at 12 degrees tonight. We're looking at a lot of folks without a heat source.
Absolutely, and like I said, if you're out, no heat, we've got the community center, we got power here in town, so it's ready to go. We've got 4 or 5 over there right now. But the thing is, make sure you bring something to eat. We do have restaurants open now, so we can go get stuff for you if we need to. As mentioned earlier, if this is prolonged, we'll get into a different mode. We'll convert from a warming center into a shelter so that we can prepare those meals and do those things. But on the short term, again, that's just not something that we're able to do at this time.
What transportation?
Rescue squad right now is transporting. We're still waiting to hear back from state EOC on National Guard. We've contacted them several times. We keep saying that we're on, they've got a request, it's received, it's going up the chain, and we'll see what happens with that.
And I'll stress that's to the warming centers.
To the warming center, right, and medical emergencies, they'll help go in and get those with the Humvees and those kind of things, is what we're hoping for. Apparently, Greenup, Boyd, Carter, all those, they've already got them. Yeah. And it's just,
well,
just
they got it worse.
They got it worse. They got a higher population of people too.
Yeah.
So.
My next and last update comes from Kerry Howard of Licking Valley RECC. Their communications at their main office in Morgan County have been down. They didn't have any power there either, and that essentially has meant not only could no one call into their office to report outages or find out about them, but also they've had very limited outgoing, of course, connections as well, and that's been a hindrance to them. But they have worked very hard today to restore a lot of outages. But as of right now, Mr. Howard tells us that there are still a little more than 900, not people, but accounts in Kentucky, in Magoffin County, that are still without power, but that they're working around the clock to try to restore those, and that help is on the way.
Last night, we started having major outages last night about 5 o'clock when the substation went down. And then last night about 10:30, it came back on, of course, so we had numerous outages beyond that one. But then the power went off at our main office on about midnight last night. We lost all communications with our outage management system and our communication system, so that really put us in a bind. And we got about 4 o'clock this afternoon, it came back on finally, and that's why a lot of people have not been able to have any contact with us at all. This morning, we were about 4,000, a little better than 4,000 on the total system out without power. Right now, we're at 3986, and I know that sounds like we've not made no headway, but we have. Because I guess probably, honestly, it went up to about 6,000 in the night, but I know that was about 4,000 last night when everything just went complete. Right now in Magoffin County, we have 913 out. That's as of about 10 minutes ago. Like I say, system-wide, Morgan County, we got 1,672 out. Wolf County, we got 512. Breathitt County, we got 714 out. And these are accounts. Those aren't people. Those are actual accounts. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, we do have 12 men and vehicles and digger trucks and bucket trucks coming from Indiana. And we have another 12 men coming from Warren Electric in Bowling Green, and they will be pulling in hopefully any time. The Warren group has said as soon as they get here, they want to start working. So that'll be sometime tonight, and there'll be all 24 of those, and plus our men will be working tomorrow. So hopefully we can make some major headway. I know emergency management and all them have been in contact with us, but we would rather actually work with the counties on that. And I know, I think Matt and myself have talked, and also we've talked with Wolf County and Morgan County.
Any parts of Magoffin County where there's, large portions? I know we're going to have isolated outages to deal with for some time, but is there large portions that you're targeting, or that you got some sort of a feel for when it might be coming back on?
Honestly, I know we got... it's sort of spread out over the whole county. I looked at the map just a while ago. Sublette substation had been off again today. That's due to transmission. That was about 1,200 at one time, so that makes for hard work. But it's spread out all over the county. I know up on Route 30, Bear Branch, several broke poles in that area. Coon Creek is lines down on the ground. I know in Coon Creek area. It's basically spread all over the county, and what's going to happen is we can get the big numbers on, but then there's going to be those ones that's out at the end of the lines, and some of those that's got broken poles. It's just going to take a while. Hopefully not days. We hope it's not going to be weeks. We hope it's only going to be days or even hours. So that's our plan.
I know it's a little bit out of your wheelhouse, so to speak, but I know you guys work together. You work with just about anybody that you can. I've reached out to Kentucky Power AP, and I haven't gotten anything back from them. I know they got Restaurant Rollback on a little while ago, quicker than what was maybe anticipated, which is good news. You got any idea? If you had any conversations with any of those, I know like Dixie and Sagersville, they've got a lot of other customers that are still out. Any input on that at all?
But most of my conversations was to help get our main office in West Liberty is on Kentucky Power, and I had conversations with one of their managers this morning, and then again this afternoon, trying to figure out when the timeline would be. And like I say, I know they had some trees on the line. They just like us, they have to work through those things. But honestly, on the rest of it in Magoffin County, from what I'm hearing, there may be a couple broke poles over in the Max Fork area that's on their transmission that goes over to the Falcon substation. Now, I'm sure if they got them off the road and they're probably on the side of the mountain or on the ridge tops, it's going to take them a little time to get those poles fixed. And if they can, I'm sure they'll try to backfeed everything they can. Directly about that, I have not.
Now, I need to add some bad news, I'm afraid, to that conversation that you were just listening to between myself and Curry Howard. Actually, while you were listening I received messages with some bad news therein from Curry about the Sublette station, and it's not good news. It was showing that it was on in his system, but he has received word that, in fact, it has now gone off, and it looks as though it will not be repaired tonight. They have several down trees. They also have a structure, I'm not sure what type, which may have collapsed and causing some issues there. So the Sublette station, as Curry said, feeds about 1,200 customers. That's the head of the river all the way to the Mountain Parkway, Route 30 to Breathitt County, the Middle Fork, down and around area, basically anything that they have, Licking Valley RACC, south of the Mountain Parkway. So those folks will not, it does not look like, will not be having power tonight due to the Sublette station, substation not being operational tonight. They are working on it very diligently, but if you are, or someone in that part of the county, you can almost expect that you will not have power until sometime tomorrow. Moving on real quickly, this was the roads early this morning. They have since cleared, with the road crews working all day religiously to do so. However, tonight, of course, a lot of them will refreeze, but just to let you know, I just got word from the Transportation Department saying that their crews are going to work until midnight tonight to treat the roads and cut trees when it's safe to do so. Now, they are going to try to get a little rest at midnight and then hit it back at 5 a.m., so a very brief rest period. They say that if a tree has fallen across utility lines, their crew members, of course, cannot cut it out of the roadway. It has to be removed by the utility company, and we know how busy the utility companies are. So asking for your understanding and in bearing with them while they continue to try to clear our roads of trees, and then, of course, the power company of down power lines, and then try to treat them as much as possible. So if you can at all, please, please stay inside. And that is literally all the time that I have for this evening and all the updates that I have. Any major announcements, please stay tuned to our website, SagersvilleIndependent.com, our YouTube channel as well, and our social media pages. Heather will be posting, and I of course, will be as well. Should there be any major announcements and any other information that we need to get out desperately to you, we hope to start hearing back from some viewers tomorrow. If you have any newsworthy items that you'd like to share, for better or worse. We hope to hear some good news come out of this, but regardless, if there's anything that's affected our county and news-wise and you would like to share with us, well, we'll start hoping to hear from you maybe on tomorrow as things at least calm down for a day before our next big winter weather hit. And that is going to be the last thing that I mentioned tonight, and that is because we're going to see 12 degrees tonight, so please stay in. Stay warm. Make sure your heating source is safe and in a safe area, and check on those friends and neighbors and the elderly if you can. We're just looking at flurries in the morning, maybe a little light snow in the afternoon, but by tomorrow night we could see that heavy snow, and we're talking about 1 to 3 inches of snow tomorrow night with a low of around 27. And then Thursday, rain, snow, and freezing rain. Maybe another 1/10 of an inch of ice, and maybe about another 1/2 inch of snow. And then rain, snow, and freezing rain Thursday night as well. Not winding down until sometime relatively early on Friday. So hopefully this won't have as much impact on our utilities and life as this storm has. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay tuned to Your News Today. Next time. Good night.